Hey folks, Grandison Shines here, and we are back for part 8 of our video series. We have reached the apex of the color spectrum inside the triangle. Then we're going to go to the outside lines that encompass the triangle, the inside of the triangle. And today we're going to talk about something that's very, very nuanced. As we start from the bottom, we can talk about foundational principles, becoming more aware, self-aware, even situationally aware. And then communication, leadership, and accountability comes into play, understanding that all three of those are a type of conversation. And they should say they're communication. Communication, leadership, and accountability are all conversations that we see in our program as communication. Understanding how to maneuver through all three of those, getting to the point of influencing our community and maneuvering through our community, working inside of human nature. All along this whole entire time, we have one other aspect where now we talk about the heart of the leader. We talk about the heart. Let me make sure I show you this one here. Okay, so the apex, we talk about the heart. And the heart is very particular, very nuanced, much so like the other ones. But this one is something that we have to make sure we're careful in making sure that we utilize this and understand said nuances in the right way. What do I mean by that? Meaning that we have to understand that there are items that pull on our heartstring. There are things that people say that pull on our heartstrings that give us the opportunity to make certain decisions or to back up our reason why we make certain decisions. But we also have to learn, as leaders, we also have to learn how to pull on the heartstrings of other people with stories and with in other aspects of understanding how the dynamic of leadership works, speaking with inspiration and motivating people, all that being authentically coming from the heart. This is a big opportunity for us leaders to understand how to shape and understand how to maneuver. And if we're not careful, we can really get deceived by people who strategically know how to pull on the heartstrings to help us make the decision that they want that might not be in the best interest of our community, right? So as leaders, we have to really pay attention to that. So let's talk about the definition of the heart here. What we're going to focus on, the heart or the heartfelt conversation is a conversation that is deeply personal and sincere. There are times in the program we're talking to people, and there are times when they shed tears. Those are heartfelt conversations, heartfelt messages that we go back and forth on. There are sometimes they have issues, and they may be a little bit more vulnerable at that point in time, and we have to work through that. And those things pull on the heartstrings for us, all right? Okay, let's continue on. It is a conversation where the participants are open and vulnerable, sharing their thoughts, feelings, and experiences in an authentic and meaningful way. Every leader should aspire to operate from this opportunity. Not on all the time, but being cognizant that, hey, people have feelings, they have vulnerable times of vulnerability or being more vulnerable. We share our thoughts. It is a conversation where the participants feel heard and understood, okay, and where there is a sense of connection and intimacy. When a leader gets to this point, understanding how to strategically utilize the heartfelt conversation and operate from the heart, he or she can really start making some moves. This is where you have that path to greatness hits its apex, its top, meaning that we're not just focused on just the performance side. We're authentically looking at and understanding the differences and the thoughts and the feelings of people, and who people really are, and what they mean to us in our community, and how we can relate to them from a point of intimacy and talking and sharing in an authentic way. I keep saying that word because it bears repeating. In an authentic way. There are some people who just drive, and they don't feel that sense of, and you may have had a leader like this before, they drive. You may not feel like you have that strong sense of camaraderie. You don't feel like you can open up to them. But there's some people that their energy allows people to just automatically open up to them. I'm one of those people. That's why I love doing what I do. But I also have to make sure that I'm very, very careful to tap into the energy in the right way, making sure that that energy is not being manipulated, or I'm not being manipulated by the energy, but at the same time, I'm taking that into consideration, and also being very authentic in how I approach that person and provide advice, coaching, mentoring sessions for them, or advice for even consulting advice on how to continue to scale business in terms of productivity, efficiency, and profitability. All that is interlined with the proper, or I should say, interacting and engaging in the proper conversation. There's no separating the heart from everything else once you reach that apex, once you really start incorporating that into your leadership style. Everything else below in this color spectrum still has its importance. And we will always be revisiting all 8 of these colors here inside the spectrum. The one thing though about the heart is that it is very, very particular. I advise you to be very, very carefully positioning yourself with people to understand how they are moving throughout the community. This is something that we've talked about in the program to an extensive point. And in fact, if you are a leader and you're trying to have this high performing team, it's not all about the drive. It's not all about the drive. It is also about the heart, and that heartfelt conversation, or the heartfelt conversations. Let me make it plural because you're going to have this throughout the number of years. You're going to find that speaking from the heart, people will really gravitate towards you. Your energy will be appropriated, and you'll be very particular. Let me just utilize that word with people that you have in your community. You learn how to be very particular, because the heart, those matters of the heart, can be very, very delicate. We're going to make sure we have that in the right direction. All right, folks, that's inside the triangle. Starting from the bottom again, we have the foundational principles, the awareness, self-awareness, others awareness, and then situational awareness. We make sure that we understand how communication works, how leadership works, and accountability work. All 3 of those having certain skill sets and conversations within in and of themselves. And we continue to take that and escalate it into our community, how to structure a proper conversation, how to make sure we interweave human nature and be cognizant of human nature, and then work authentically from the heart. All right, folks, that concludes this video. Stay tuned for the next one. Thanks.